Within this video, we will show the usage of the HTTP client. HTTP clients are used to make it easier to make incoming configurations, outgoing configurations, but also other configurations towards a specific system because the connectivity towards that system is already located within the client. So we recommend to put those connectivity things such as the base URL, authentication, maybe extra plugins, always towards that HTTP client to be able to reuse that in other systems. So this is where you would have, for example, your clients towards your ERP system, your clients towards your e-commerce platform, and any kind of other platforms that you're talking to. So as you can see here in the list, there is a bunch of those already. We also have the options here to export them, duplicate them, or delete them. And we have the pagination and the search filters as mentioned also in the other videos for similar pages like this. So if we were to create an HTTP client, we could say, okay, we could say platform client, for example, of saying, okay, what kind of platform or system are we talking to? In this case, we could define a prototype one, but we could also take one and select one from the prototypes that we have, because Alumio, of course, already connects with a lot of systems and therefore also knows for a lot of systems what kind of information do you specifically need. For example, for the Shopify one, Alumio already knows, okay, then I only need a base URI and I need an X Shopify token. And of course, if we would say, do we want to enable the logging or not? Would we to say, okay, it is not in there and I would like to create a custom one, then we have the option for that as well. Saying, for example, okay, we would like to add plugins. We have three plugins that we always recommend to use, which is the base URL, which is the logging. So in the case of logging, we have the options for full, long, or simple. Full being everything, long being 10,000, and simple being 100. In most cases, long will suffice. And then we also have the option to put extra content type headers or anything with the request as we would like. In most cases, we actually put this add content type header to request, which says if it recognizes that the data is JSON, it will put JSON to the content type header. If it recognizes any of the other data structures / types, then it will put those to the content type header, which makes it very easy that you don't have to remember to place those yourself. Then we also have the possibility of putting authentication in here, in which, of course, we have a whole bunch of different ways of authentication. For example, it's very common that you would need a bearing token. You can place the bearing token in here, and then Alumio knows how to write a proper access or a proper authentication request header for a bearer token. It is also possible to say, okay, we want to go for OAuth 2, and where we would provide, for example, the generic one with client credentials, where we provide the client ID, the client secret, a token URL, maybe some extra scopes, maybe some additional fields, and then we can click on the receive and access token key. Once all of the information is filled in and the connection is successful, the token will be stored in here and also be used for all of the follow-up calls that are made within or for this client. So that also means that everything with the refresh token is also handled that way. Then below that, we have a whole bunch of very specific authentication / authorization / firewall kind of information or SSL handshakes and anything like that to talk to any system. Let's say that there are certain firewalls, or let's say that there is specifically some other ways of talking to those systems. Or, for example, what's very common is IP whitelisting, VPN tunneling, or anything like that. That is mostly what we see with on-premise systems. So for that, we can also talk to all of those. Once this client is saved and we have all of the information filled in, let's say example.com, we can save that, and then it actually gives a validation that I didn't fill in this case, OAuth 2. So let's remove this for this case. We can save that, and we can apply this platform client right now within, for example, an incoming configuration or an outgoing configuration or anywhere else where you can select this client.